where we could be alone. Between city lights, we don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up, guys? Welcome to Livestream. Woo! No, oh. I tapped the wrong button on my stream deck. There we go, that's right. Woo. I was feeling a little under the weather today. I don't know why. Just a little tired, a little run down. Maybe my whole family got a cold last week, and I didn't. So maybe it's even. So I thought, you know, what better way to get yourself hyped for a stream than a nice. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. FPV arborist, always glad to see you here from Albuquerque. Albuquerque. License to Drive wants to know if he can send me a 3D printed miniature tiny trainer. Yeah, I can make sure. Always happy to get presents in the mail. In fact, I am often annoyed when I go to check the mail and my wife has had the audacity to get packages in the mail. How dare she? I see the packages and I think to myself, oh boy, I can't wait to see, because I get a lot of mail. I mean, I get a lot of packages. I order stuff for work all the time, right? I get a lot of mail. So every time I see packages in the mailbox, I think, oh, what's coming? What's coming? And then it's addressed to her. And I don't know how she could betray me like this. Well, but I love her. So, you know. Ram Jam says you're the first person I've known to get a cold during the pandemic. It was interesting. Don't do it. I will put people in timeout if the chat goes a certain direction. I will say, ever since I stopped going out and started wearing masks in public all the time, I haven't gotten a cold in like a year. I think it's more my children, because like obviously if you work in retail, then you're interacting with people all the time. You're a vector for the cold and flu, right? But if you have children, parents, you know, those little buggers, my God, they will go and they will just, you know, all the toddlers will go lick each other, and then they'll come home and they'll all have whatever they all have. So I think yeah, it's all gotten in there. But I will say, my son and my wife my two sons, both sons, got a cold last week, and I've been using this stuff. Today's live stream is brought to you by Zicam nasal spray. Zicam nasal spray is the only proven by, I don't know. It has FDA. It's actually, you know, there's a clinical study. I use that stuff. Here's how it works. By the way, here's how that stuff works for me. I start, my family gets sick. I'm usually the last one to get sick. You know, so my immune system is like enough to hold it off, but not enough to keep me from getting sick. So F you, immune system. So as soon as my wife and kids get sick, I start squirting that stuff up my nose like 4 times a day. Do not use more than, well, anyway, I start, and I got to tell you, I feel like it works. I really resisted that because it's homeopathic. And a lot of times when people talk about homeopathic stuff, it's all a bunch of woo. You know, we're not going to go, no, homeopathy is real. Okay, we're not going there either. Things we're not going to talk about are the pandemic and homeopathy and whether it's real. But it's like 3x diluted. It's not like 20x diluted. So there is at least one molecule of whatever the active ingredient is, and there is an actual like clinical trial that showed it to be effective at reducing the length of the common cold, Zicam. So anyway, my family gets sick. I start squirting that stuff up my nose, and then I start to get a little. I think I might be getting a little sick, and then I keep doing it, and I get better. I'm like, oh, I beat it. And then I stop doing it, and then I get sick. So, what a waste of time and money. Get you. You know what? You. Take that, Obama. You think you're the only one who can swat flies? That fly almost flew into my bourbon. Dale Puskas, yeah, this is not, I don't think this is that kind of nasal spray. You're talking about the decongestant nasal sprays. This isn't that. Anyway, Neti Pot, I should try that. People have said I should try nasal irrigation. I don't know if you, by the way, welcome to the live stream. Hey, you tuned into an FPV live stream. We're talking about Zicam. Whatever. You may have noticed in my latest racing video, anytime I have the lavalier mic on and I'm not talking like you do, I close my mouth. And then I breathe through my nose, but like my sinuses are always just a little, like, I don't know if I have, like, someone said, oh, you have deviated septum. Somebody else said, oh, you have nasal polyps. I don't know what all that is. But every time I close my mouth, you can hear me breathing. And I thought, wow, maybe I should do some of that nasal irrigation. I don't know. Welcome to the live stream. Here's what's going on. We're off to a great start. Here's what's going on. This is my big screen up here. Let me put the viewer activity up. I'm going to be taking your questions here in the chat. Yes, I will. Over here in the chat, I'll be taking your questions. And what props are good, fun to try? I've only tried Nazgul 5140s. Try a bunch. Try them all. Try different props. Yeah, and then no, not really any harm in it. Michoel Mushinsky has ordered ExpressLRS, and I have no clue what to do. Setup looks very complex. I mean, you can watch my setup video. You don't have to flash the bootloader to the receiver because you've ordered the ExpressLRS already. But the setup is what I would say is if you are just getting into ExpressLRS, go join the ExpressLRS Discord server, and any questions you have there, they can help you out. They're super, super helpful. That's what I would say. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to answer your questions in the chat. If you want to make sure I get to your question. Like, unfortunately, these questions are just going to go by too fast for me to look. Oh, look at all these. Look, I haven't answered any of these questions. Just ignored these people. How rude. If you want to make sure that I get to your question, hit the $ right down here. Leave a super chat. It gets pulled out to a separate window, and you can, then you also give me money, which I don't mean, it's not that I do it for the money, but I do enjoy the money. I'll get your question. Also, hello. This is the moment for them to shine. Brandon RC, I think you need TX and RX for GPS because GPS, like U-Blocks at least, is a two-way protocol. I'm 99% sure. So I think you need TX and RX for GPS. These beautiful people are the Discord. These are my patrons. People say, well, how do you get on the Discord server? I like Discord. You become a patron. That's how you do it. You don't have to, if you don't, I'll still answer your messages. But if you want to hang, these people won't. So I'll still answer your messages for free. But if you want to talk to Eric Toft or Nin3 Frame or Aerobat or Mouse FPV or T Simon, these people won't talk to you unless you become a patron. I mean, they might. Not on my server, they won't. Anyway, that's what we're going to do for about 2 hours. And there you go. And then Bardwell killed a fly on stream. And then PETA got mad and canceled him. That's it. That's going to be the thing that I did that gets me canceled. Damn it. If you only knew. Frank Nichols, thank you for that information. U-Blocks is not two-way. The GPS just blurts out the info, but most programs, including Betaflight, want to configure the GPS, and that requires two-way communication. I see. So the GPS will power up, and it'll start just blurting out the stream of data. But Betaflight will be like, hold on, I need to configure you. And if they don't have a TX and an RX, that won't work. Got it. Guys, I don't know if you guys know, I do giveaways sometimes. There are various ways to get me to do a giveaway, but I want to just show you something from my Facebook. This is not how to do it. This is not how to get me to give you a giveaway. The first message I saw, give me a DJI FPV drone, please. I was like, yeah, or whatever. Hey, you can't blame a guy for trying. But then I saw the other 15 messages. And I was like, okay, now you're just annoying. I mean, I was never going to give away a DJI drone. If I was going to give one away, I would do a random giveaway like I did like a month ago or 2 months ago. I gave away a DJI FPV drone randomly. I wouldn't just give it, to you for asking. But I mean, I've done that before. I gave away a set of Eachine goggles, I think, if I remember right. Somebody was like, "Hey, can I have those goggles since you're done reviewing them?" And I don't know, man. You just caught me in the right mood. I was just like, "Yeah, okay. Send me your address." So like, I don't blame a guy for trying, but don't spam the comments. Helicoptrosis says, I'm not able to flash Betaflight 404 on a backup flight controller. Do you think they don't support some older versions anymore? Helicoptrosis, you can flash it, but if we go here in Betaflight Configurator and we go to the firmware flasher screen, let me drag this over. What you can see is the Betaflight Configurator only ever shows the oldest 3 versions, if my memory's correct. So here we've got 4.2, 4.1, and maybe 2 versions. I'm not sure about that. But you can see here they stop back at 4.1.0. There's no 4.0. You can still download those from the GitHub page. So that's apropos of nothing. So if we go to Betaflight and we go to releases, where's releases? There it is. Releases. Betaflight 4.2.9 is the latest. So now we're on the releases page. And this is the part that annoys me. And people who are experts at GitHub tell me if there's a better way to do this. I don't know any way to do this other than to either, number one, guess the URL. Oh, you go to tags. Oh, that's better. It's going to be faster. So I'm going to go to tags. Next. And you're looking for 4.0 something. So here we are. 4.0.6 is the last 4.0 release. You can go and download this file manually and flash it. But it's not going to show up in the configurator. But you could still flash it. It'll still work. What do you think about filament dryers crunked? Tell me about that. So I have, well, this is a section of the live stream we call Joshua outsources his research for a video. How to make good reviews. Step 1, 2 weeks before you release the review, make a post on social media suggesting some part of the, and then wait for people to freak out and correct you. So I'm looking at this. Sovol sent me this filament dryer box. And so I'm like, okay, I'll take a look at it. And here's the thing. I'm going to be just completely straight with you. It's a box with a heater in it. How are you going to screw that up? Oh, let's review it. It's a box with a heater in it. So, for example, the Sovol box only goes up to 50 degrees Celsius. The eSun box, I think it goes up to 80, or maybe it's the Sunlu. I don't remember which one. One of them has a scale in it that weighs your filament. Now, that's hot. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure how to review this one. It's a box with the heater in it. Oh, this one box with a heater in it is so much better than this other one. It's a box. Anyway, that's my take. I do like that you can get 2 spools in the Sovol. I mean, for the price of the Sovol, which is about $55, maybe $60 on Amazon if you order it from Amazon, for the price of that, you can get, like, for $45, you can get a single spool box from one of the competitors, and it seems like this is a better deal. Although, like I said, the one of them has a scale in it, which is pretty hot. But I don't know. Either you're going to build it yourself and you're going to spend $20 or $30 making your own. Fine. Or you're going to buy one and you're going to spend between $45 and $60. And I don't think one is really better than another in a lot of ways. But here's the thing. No, I take that back. Like the Sovol is too wide. The eSun has a scale in it. Okay, that's cool. Those are differentiating factors. But like I watched a review. So like I've never reviewed one of these before. So I watched some other guy review them, and he like took these sponges and he put a gram of water on each of the sponges, and he put the sponges in the dryer boxes, and he waited, and then he took them out, and he found that one of the dryer boxes had dried more water than the other one. Oh, who cares? I'm just going to stick my filament in it and come back in 6 hours and it'll be dry. Who cares? Anyway, Crunk says do before and after drying print quality. So about that. So Crunked, I thought of doing that, Crunked. So I took a fresh spool of filament, and I took a spool of filament that had been just sitting in my basement for at least 6 months. And I did the same print on both of them, and they looked the same. So obviously, my basement is not a very humid environment, I guess. It was TPU, so it wasn't ABS or nylon, but... So I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? I can't really do it before and after. Squishy, I do agree. Some filaments need a higher drying temp. Like, I believe one of the reviewers I watched said nylon requires 70 degrees Celsius. And that's one of the points that I make in the that I will make in the video. The Sovol box only goes up to 50 degrees. So... Stupid flies. It's summer. There's flies in here. I've been trying to get rid of them. They're just flying around. There it goes. Just don't get in my drink. That's all I have to say. This was TPU, which is supposed to be somewhat susceptible to moisture. I thought about soaking the filament in water. Like, I've seen tests where they literally soak the filament in water, but it seems a little contrived. It seems a little contrived. Like it would... I don't know. Anyway. The other thing is... Now I'm going to be paranoid about flies landing on my head all stream. Oh, there... Fucker. There he goes. The other thing is I've always just stuck my filament in the oven. And I've only accidentally slightly melted a roll once. So... Anyway. Do you really need to... That's the thing. So Tyler TFPV says, do you really need to dry TPU filament? Let's find out. The thing is, what's the conclusion, Tyler? Do you or don't you? I think, like, as I thought about how to approach this review of this dry box, I thought maybe I should establish that wet filament prints worse. And I'm like, really? That's really established. That's just known. I don't need to, like, prove that. That's just a fact. So... Some filaments, like polycarbonate, absorb moisture so fast that drying them during printing is almost a requirement. Wow. I certainly haven't printed that. Never use your kitchen oven. Chemical leach is very bad, says Tim Proctor. I mean, sure, but like I put it in the oven at what? Let me convert to Celsius since we've been talking Celsius. I put it in the oven at like 75 Celsius, okay? That's the lowest my oven goes. And I definitely put it like on a sheet, and like a cookie sheet in case it melts. But is 70 Celsius enough to cause some kind of chemical? Like, what's it going to do? Is it going to like off gas? I'm not convinced that it will. I mean, but who knows? I could be wrong. I'm suspicious of that. Now, I have heard of people melting their filament in their oven because the oven will have a wide swing. It doesn't have a very precise thermostat, right? It's not like it's PID controlled. So you can, if you're near your glass transition temperature, then the oven can go up over it and come back down, and yeah, you can do it. Off gassing? Really? What is it going to off gas? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I would want to know more about that. I'm suspicious that it like off gases. What is it off gassing? That's then going to get in your food. Water vapor. Yeah, exactly. It's off gassing water vapor. Yeah. Anyway. Let's get some of these super chats out of the way. We got a couple super chats. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Sovol dryer boxes. Do you? Do you care about that? Maybe you do. Let's get a couple of these super chats out of the way. Marcello Sonoda. Thank you for everything. And for my friend Gabriel Mavrudes from Brazil. Thank you so much for your donation of $5. Mike Bergman. Mike Bergman is the thumbs up, the like. He was telling everybody to slap like. Thank you, Mike, for driving the likes. Mike Bergman says, Gem Fan Hobby, pretty pleased will you make some more 3.5-inch T-mount prop options. It's a hidden gem of a size. We love you. Yeah, 3.5-inch right now. If you fly 3.5-inch, you basically have either the iFlight or the Emax Avon props, and that's it. Gem Fan, get on it. Squishy7 says, aren't ovens meant to prevent moisture from leaving the oven? I feel like that would be the primary difference. Squishy, you're right about that. I've thought about that too. When I opened my oven, and when we first moved into this house, this didn't happen. And I think the old oven was just old and maybe not as sealed. But so then later the stove died or whatever, something went wrong. I don't remember what happened, but we got a new stove. For whatever reason, we got a new stove. Why did we get a new stove? Like, I'm sure I didn't just buy a new stove because, like, Anyway, this new stove, as soon as you open the door, whoosh, this cloud of steam and moisture comes out and just smashes you right in the face. So you got to open the oven like this. You got to be like, okay. So then how's it going to dry your filament? Well, it does, though, because it heats the filament up. The moisture becomes more energetic and transitions to water vapor, right? So it turns from the liquid water in the filament to, it sort of boils it off. I mean, the same thing is true for the dry boxes. Unless you put desiccant in there, where's the water going to go? So. Squishy7 says, your car's plastic trim off-gases at lower temps than that. That's why your interior glass gets hazy over time and needs to be cleaned. That stuff gets caked to the walls of the oven and gets in your food. Does it? Really? If ovens have to vent somewhat. Redbeard the pilot, you're right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you, Trash Gaming, for a $20 super chat. Wishing Louis Leon the happiest of birthdays. We love you, Anika and Carl. Thank you so much for this super chat. And happy birthday, Louis Leon, from Anika and Carl. We also have to wish a happy birthday to Lexi Jansen. Her birthday was, I think, yesterday. Maya on High, happy birthday, Lexi Jansen, as well. Yeah. Stargazer asks, I purchased a Caddx Vista Nebula Pro, and the warning says to keep it away from the carbon frame. Do they mean the antenna or the Caddx Vista unit itself? I would love to see, Stargazer, can you can you email me a picture of that warning so I can see it for myself? I've heard some reports of this. A whole lot of people are freaking out about whether it's safe or unsafe to touch the Caddx to your carbon frame. Now, let's think this through. The Caddx has mounting holes, doesn't it? Son of a bitch. Caddx has mounting holes, doesn't it? I see you, you son of a... Didn't get it. The Caddx has mounting holes, right? So clearly it is intended to be mounted with screws, with metal screws, to a carbon frame. So, and I've done that. I've done it many times. I mean, sometimes I mount my Caddx Vista with double-sided tape and zip ties. Sometimes I mount it with metal screws. It just depends on how I'm feeling on a given day. But there's no inherent flaw with mounting it touching the carbon. And there damn well shouldn't be. The outer case is grounded. That's the expectation. The outer case is grounded, and so the frame touching the frame is also grounded. Now, you wouldn't do that with something like a receiver or a TBS Unify because they have naked electronics. They don't have a case. So I can't think of any reason why it would not be okay to mount the Vista on a carbon frame. If you really care about that, use double-sided tape, use VHB tape, or Scotch Extreme mounting tape is what I use. But lots of people mount them direct to the carbon. Lots of people mount them with metal screws. It's not an issue. And here's the story. Somebody comes out of the woodwork and says, well, this one time I had a short circuit and my Vista got fried. Now look, any electronic device is going to have grounded parts. Typically the case, the outer part, is grounded. That's true of your camera. It's true of lots of things. So the frame is usually going to get ground from somewhere, right? Not always, but usually. If the Caddx Vista frame, like the SMA connector on your VTX antenna, it's grounded. A lot of times that may, I mean, depending on how you mount it, that may end up touching the carbon, for example. So now let's assume that you've got your Vista touching the carbon plate of the frame, and somehow, like you shred your VBAT wire, and it touches the frame. Now, the VBAT wire is applying voltage to the frame. Current flows through the carbon fiber frame and through the Vista, through the case of the Vista, back to ground. And you say, oh my gosh, if I hadn't mounted the Vista like that, none of this would have happened. No, hold on. Back up. The problem there is that your VBAT wire touched the frame. It's never good when VBAT touches things it's not supposed to touch. That's like saying I poured gasoline all over my house and I lit a match and I threw it in the house and the house lit on fire. Oh my gosh, if only I had had a different kind of house, that wouldn't have happened. No, the problem was the first thing you did. That was the problem. So, I don't think it's a problem. If you got sparks coming from your Caddx Vista USB port, somewhere current voltage potential was being applied to the frame, and that shouldn't happen. And to be fair, sometimes things that shouldn't happen. So like if you want to give your Vista just a little bit of extra protection from getting fried if a problem happens, then yeah, don't mount it touching the carbon. But there's no inherent flaw in mounting it touching the carbon as far as I know. Beantime FPV in the Discord says, I'm having problems with my brand new Toolkit RC M4Q charger. It's restarting when charging 4 packs at any amperage. The lowest temp I've seen was 45 degrees. The website says they overheat at 80 degrees. Is this an easy fix or should I return it? Beantime, if I bought any brand new product and it was doing something like that, I would just ask I would immediately reach out to the store and tell them what happened and see if the store wants to offer me a replacement, or I would immediately reach out to the company that makes the product and see if they want to offer me a replacement or some other thing to do. When you buy a brand new product, it should work correctly for at least like 5 minutes before it starts having problems. And so often in this hobby, people assume that they are screwed if they buy a product and it goes wrong. And so often, in fact, that is accurate, but it doesn't have to be that way, and it shouldn't be that way. So, based on what you're describing, I would number one, hope that you bought it from a reputable store that's going to have your back. That is easiest to do in the United States, where we have our pick of great vendors, Race Day Quads, Get FPV, Pyrodrone, and many other stores. Those are the 3 biggest probably, but many, many other stores who will have their customers' backs if things go wrong. But many times a store will say, well, look, you know, the company does their own warranty stuff. You need to contact them. So you should always ask the store. Just say, hey, here's what's happening. They have a problem with this thing you sold me. And a great store will say, let me take it back. Let us exchange it for you. If they say, well, sorry, you have to reach out to the vendor. That's how it is sometimes. Not all stores can afford to eat the product like that. I mean, in theory, they shouldn't eat the product. They should take it back to the vendor, and the vendor should refund them. But that doesn't always happen. So then you reach out. In fact, don't wait. Reach out to the vendor. Reach out to the manufacturer, rather. And reach out to Toolkit RC and say, hey, I've got this product. It's giving me a problem. What are you going to do about it? I mean, be more polite than that. And if you're still getting blown off, I don't know what to tell you. Don't buy that. Don't buy from that company again, I guess. Sucks. As a Ace, you're clever, but you're too clever. As a Ace says, if I'm running LEDs, is it okay to use the carbon frame as the ground? No. And it's clever, but the problem is that carbon is conductive, but it's not that conductive. It has a high resistance. So what'll happen is, in order to get enough current to light your LEDs, you may unacceptably heat the frame. Yeah. So, or damage the frame. So no, you cannot use your frame as ground, but very clever of you to think of that. It's not going to work, though. Steve Botkool says, I received a defective Insta360 Go 2, and 10 days later, I'm still getting the runaround from their tech support. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about this. I mean, so often you just get the runaround. Amazon returns are the absolute best. Renee Stevenik, 100%. The best place to buy from is Amazon, because the returns are like completely I mean, like, eventually they'll flag you. I mean, I've heard about people getting flagged for doing too many returns, and I've also heard about people abusing this. They'll buy a product from Amazon, they'll return the product, and they'll just return an empty box. And what's the vendor going to do? The vendor just eats it. So let me be clear. That's just theft. Okay. So, I mean, like, I know people out there who are just like, yeah, it's theft. Jeff Bezos can suck it, or whatever. They're fine with stealing from Amazon. That's you do you. But if you buy from Amazon and you have a problem, returns are super, super easy. Just basically, they just give you a mailing label, you drop it in the mail, you're done. Or you can take it to the UPS store or to freaking Kohl's for some reason. I don't know why. I went into a Kohl's the other day to do an Amazon return. It was pretty weird being in a department store. So anyway, if you get the runaround, though, what can you do? I don't know. I mean, they always, I don't know, everybody, whenever I have a problem with a product, they're always like super quick to take care of it. So I don't know why that might be. I don't know. It's tough. I always try and keep my ear to the ground for people who say such and such a company gave me a runaround. Because obviously people answer my freaking emails. So, I mean, I can't tell. People are going to misread that as me bragging, like I'm so important, everybody takes my messages. No. I hope nobody's misreading it that way. I just mean that it's impossible for me to judge how good a company's customer service is based on my personal experiences, because people recognize my name. So I try and keep my ear to the ground. And what I'll usually do is someone will email me and they'll say, such and such, I had this problem, customer service, and I'm getting a runaround. And I'll just forward the message and say, hey, just wanted you to know I got this. I'm not trying to interject myself in the situation, but I just wanted to make sure it didn't slip through the cracks. And then I see what happens. You never know. The vendor, you're absolutely right. Pacific Northwest, the vendor is the one who eats the cost of the return. That's a truth. That if you steal from Amazon by doing a fake return, you're actually stealing from the vendor. Amazon doesn't eat that. And in fact, that's one of the reasons why when you buy on Amazon, products are usually a fair bit more expensive than when you buy elsewhere. I I don't know if Rotor Riot still sells on Amazon. I know that they did. Maybe they do. But when they were first getting started selling on Amazon, they kept losing. I don't know what their status is that they were supposed to have, but they kept losing it because the standards for like how quickly you needed to respond to messages, how there was these ridiculously high standards that were extremely customer focused. And if you drop the ball like once, boom, they put you on probation. And so these stores know that if they sell on Amazon, they're just going to lose a certain percentage of sales because people will just return an empty box with a freaking rock in it. And they'll be like, what are they? There's nothing they can do. They just have to eat it. So they just raise the prices. Yeah. So you're not really stealing from Amazon. You're stealing from the stores, which also some people are okay with. You do you. Benjamin Hoda. I personally, there are very few brands in this hobby that I will vouch for without hesitation. And I will say that the Hoda HobbyMate line is amazing. I don't know if you can see because my desk is pretty messy. My bench is pretty messy. I have 4 Hoda D6 chargers. I got one for review. I liked it. I used it for a while. I wanted more. I bought more of them. And I have had those same chargers. They've been completely bulletproof. It makes me hesitant to review or even talk about other chargers because, like, let's say ISDT comes out with a new charger or Toolkit RC. Is it good? Does it have a defect? I know for a fact that I've used these Toolkit RC, Hoda and HobbyMate, same charger. I've used these chargers for 2 years now, completely bulletproof. So I if I had to pick one charger to recommend, it would be that one. Now, is the Hoda F6 just as good? I mean, I'm using the D6 Duo. Is the F6 just as good? I would hope so. Like, obviously, the fact that it's made by the same company suggests that it might be, but... Sean Williams, thank you for a $5 super chat. Chase the fly with a tiny whoop and hit it with your props. That I probably am not able to catch a fly with a tiny whoop. That's for sure. Mr. Subs 12 says, I like the Hoda that's wrapped in the 533 logo. That is actually a skin that 533 sells. Where is it? There we go. If you like your Hoda charger and you want to put a 533 skin on it, they sell it over at 533, Evan Turner's company. And you can just slap that sucker on there. $8. Looks kind of cute, doesn't it? Stargazer asks, JB, I have some new LiPos. How much difference in internal resistance is considered bad and returned back to seller? Stargazer, post in a comment, post in the chat what the internal resistance is. Because I'd like to see the numbers. But while you do that, I'll mention if you're going to measure internal resistance, you have to make sure that the battery is at a constant temperature because the temperature of the battery significantly affects its internal resistance. So if you have just brought your batteries in from a hot car, they've been sitting in your trunk all day, I don't know, then they're going to have a much lower internal resistance than if you were outside in the cold. If you don't control for temperature, my point is, then you'll get different measurements. The other thing is that the state of charge of the battery significantly affects the internal resistance. The higher the voltage of the battery cells, the lower the internal resistance. So You have to measure. What I would suggest doing is measure internal resistance at room temperature. Make sure the batteries have been just sitting at room temperature for a couple hours so they fully equalize, and then measure internal resistance at the very end of a charge cycle when they're nearly fully charged. Otherwise, you can't really know. And if you've got a pack where some of the cells are a little higher or a little lower voltage, then you're going to have different internal resistance. That one would surprise me. Stargazer says the internal resistance is 10, 23, 26, 23, 25, 28. What size pack is it, Stargazer? That one surprises me. I mean, all of the others are in the 23 to 26 to maybe 28 range, which is pretty normal. But then that 110, but it's normally the case that if you have a bad cell, the internal resistance will be higher. So why is that one lower? That's pretty weird. That's pretty weird. I mean, check the voltage. Maybe do this, Stargazer. Carefully charge it at a slow charge rate, including balancing. Monitor it, be safe about it, but then test the internal resistance at the end of the charge cycle. Squishy7 in the Discord says that he has commonly seen cheap internal resistance readers show the internal resistance of the first cell really low. What are you using? What are you using to read the internal resistance? Sometimes this isn't accurate. ATF 2099 says, I charged my Tiny Whoop cells, but it got dark. Can I save them for tomorrow? Yeah, overnight won't really make a big difference. Tiger Moth, thank you for $5 Australian. What's the best frame for cinematic GoPro footage and chasing? Yeah. I mean, are you asking about it? What are you chasing? What are you chasing? I'm going to guess by the fact that you're saying cinematic that you're talking about something bigger than a Cinewhoop. So I think you're going to be looking like at a 5-inch, or are you going bigger? Are you going like a 7-inch? Tiger Moth, give us more information about what you're trying to do with the quad. You said chasing. How fast? What are you chasing? Are you chasing a car or are you chasing a bike? Let's see here. Any 5-inch is as good as any other, more or less. Thank you, Sunshin. It doesn't seem quite right how to say your name. Thank you for $5. Has anybody tried to naked a full-size DJI Air unit? Yeah, I've seen at least one that's done that. Not many people do it, though. Gregory Hurst says, at the end of the charge for a new pack, internal resistance should be about 5. I mean, I'm going to assume that you know the size of the pack, because, of course, the size of the pack also affects the internal resistance. Is the Hobby Wing X-Rotor 4-in-1 ESC compatible with BLHeli32 variable PWM frequency? Asks Jan Booth. No, it is not. For some reason, Hobby Wing ESCs don't have a version of BLHeli that they don't have a 32.8 version of BLHeli. Hobby Wing hasn't released them. I don't know why. Sunshine. Oh, that makes sense. That's the name. Sunshine. Yeah, that makes sense. Skulls Chan Curry says he saw me yesterday in downtown. I don't think you did. I'm pretty sure I wasn't in downtown yesterday. I mean, I hate to like, snatch your dreams. I don't think I left the house yesterday. Did I? Yesterday was Saturday. Oh, no, I did. Oh, my son had a party. My son had a birthday party at the park. Yeah, no, you might have seen me. It's possible. It's possible. Anyway. Brian Ladmore has a naked air unit in his 4-ride. It works great and is the same weight as the Vista. Nice. And for all that trouble, you get an SD card that says SD card slow every now and then. Fantastic. Oh, right. Rob Schlich says today is Monday. Oops. That's right. I was at the park on Saturday. Yesterday was live streaming. No, I definitely didn't leave. Definitely didn't go out yesterday. Saturday, my son had a birthday party. He's 10 years old now. So, is Caddx Orca a viable Session 5 replacement for a casual user? Asks Mike T. Mike, how casual, Mike? I would lean towards no. I every time someone brings up the Caddx Orca, the chat fills with people who've had problems with it. It just doesn't seem like it's a camera that you will be able to count on for a long period of happy and trouble-free recordings. I would definitely not a Session 5 replacement. It's a mighty high bar. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than a Hero Session, so you can get it. Padawan FPV says, I just bought the Orca. The quality's decent, but it has a bunch of annoying little quirks. I never reviewed the Orca. I was going to review the Orca and the Runcam Orange, the Runcam 5 Orange at the same time. And the Orca they sent me to review was DOA. Like, literally out of the box, it just wouldn't turn on. And they were like, oh, sorry, they sent me another one. But by then I had moved on with my life, and I never got around to reviewing it. But it certainly didn't make a great first impression. Mr. Eddie Nunes says Newegg was selling Session 5s for $130. Don't hurt me, Eddie. Don't hurt me. Squishy, here's the question. Squishy asks, could we make a GoFundMe for a new Hero Session and guilt or bribe GoPro into doing it? Why did GoPro stop making the Hero 5 Session? Because nobody wanted it, except FPV pilots. No one cares about 20, 25, 30, even 40 grams of weight. No one cares about the additional size of the Hero Session. They look at a Hero Session and they go, why would I ever get that? It doesn't have a screen. Doesn't have a touch screen. They want a Hero 9. GoPro is delivering what its customers want with the Hero 8 and the Hero 9 and the Hero 7 moving that direction. The only people who ever actually wanted Sessions were FPV pilots who are going to buy them, get an insurance policy on them, smash them, and refund the insurance policy. Why would GoPro make that product for us? So, Tiger Moth is chasing large UAVs at speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour. So Tiger Moth, a 5-inch quad, any 5-inch quad will do 100 kilometers per hour, no problem. So, I mean, the question then becomes endurance. If you're okay with the, let's say 5-ish minute flight time of a 5-inch quad, then just any 5-inch freestyle quad will be fine. If you need longer flight time, start thinking about going up to a 6 or 7-inch, depending on how much agility you need. Mr. Stubbs says, normally that drink lasts the whole stream. Nah, not this drink. We're 1 hour in. The bourbon is done. Now what? I got nothing else. Oh, yeah. Remember when Caddx was going to be making a Caddx version? It was the Caddx Peanut, which was a Caddx version of the Insta360 Go 2. Philip Rodelick disagrees. He said, thank you for 25 HRK. What are you talking about? He says, every single extreme sports athlete I talk to misses the session because it just worked and was out of their way. I'm surprised to hear that. When I think about guys using GoPros, They all seem happy with the standard GoPro form factor, and I don't hear any of them saying, you know, oh, it's so big, I wish it were smaller. That's just what I've seen, but apparently you've seen different. Squishy says the time for round 2. Giveaway juice. Yeah. Coelho FPV, thanks for a $5 super chat. The new H743 flight controllers come with Betaflight 428 Custom. The micro SD is really hard to access. Activate mass storage inoperable. Will the 4.3 fix it? I sure freaking hope so. I mean, I can only assume that they don't have support for that flight controller in Betaflight 4.2, and so they're waiting for 4.3 to have full support. But like, not having the SD card work is a pretty big oversight for a flight controller. So Acterion says, if a motor sometimes starts and spins normally, but sometimes shivers and doesn't start, is it a problem with the ESC or the motor? Hard to say, but what you do is you swap the motor, and if it still does it, then it's the ESC. Daniel Brait says, I have a potentially silly question. What's the resistance supposed to be for antennas? Daniel, the answer to that question depends on the type of antenna. Some antennas will have open circuit between the pin and the ground. Some antennas will have basically zero resistance. But the thing to keep in mind is that antennas are designed to operate on an AC signal. So like for FPV, we're typically using 5.8 gigahertz. And as you get into these higher frequency signals, capacitive and inductive effects dominate. So the DC resistance of an antenna may be 0 ohms, but at 5 gigahertz, you've got 50 ohms, which is the nominal impedance of a typical antenna for FPV. So the nominal impedance at the tuned frequency is usually 50 ohms. But if you measure it with a DC multimeter, it'll measure 0 ohms. That doesn't tell you anything. Tiger Moth now wants to know, is the extra weight of a Hero 9 worth the better quality? Tiger Moth, if you're trying to do cinematic stuff, a Hero 9 has some great stuff that makes it very worth having. I think one of the features in the Hero 9 is that it can do hyper smooth without cropping in as much. Because it's got 5K resolution. So if you put it into 5K mode with hyper smooth, you'll get close to a full 4K frame. Whereas normally when you crop in from 4K, you're not getting the full resolution. The Hero 9 is heavier, but if you're doing cinematic stuff, then probably you're not doing big flippy flops anyway. And the additional weight is worth it. 507RC points out Hero 9 has horizon lock as well. Yeah. Ethan Sherman says, is there a good 4-inch long-range kit that includes turtle mode? Well, like all 4-inch long-range kits have turtle mode, right? They all do. What doesn't have turtle mode? Brushed quads. That's about it. Now I just need a glass of water. Brandon Woodford wants to know when Get FPV will restock my frame. Guys, listen. It's a new world. We live in a world where everything is out of stock forever. Just assume that that's going to be the case. If anything is in stock and you want it, buy it right now. And if anything is out of stock and you want it, put in a back order. Like, when will my frame come into stock? I don't actually know. I know there's another order of frames. It's a big order. I think it's in the thousands of frames. Like, the first order was for FPV crate, and it was just enough to fulfill the FPV crate, maybe a little more. I don't remember the exact number, but it basically was sold out as soon as it came. Then there's another order that came in, and it's a bigger, or that's been placed, and it's a bigger order. As soon as it comes into stock, it'll sell out. It's gonna sell out really fast. So if you want my QAV-S frame, because you know you're going to maybe build the perfect freestyle build that I'm going to be releasing a build tutorial this week. If you want it, I'm sorry. You should just go put a back order in and wait. I'm sorry to say that. That sucks. You just want to order something and have it come in the mail 3 days later. Like if you are able to get a straight answer about when stuff is coming, more power to you. Like Kebab recently said, yeah, the next order for motors is like 50 days out. Okay, Kebab's gave you a date. The other thing is, if you wait for stuff to be in stock, you may never see it in stock. The Xylo budget build, people say, when is it coming back in stock? It is constantly coming back into stock and being shipped out and then going back. So, you know, if there's 50 pre-orders and you get 40 kits, it'll never show up as in stock. If you're waiting for it to be in stock, you'll never see it. You just have to put in the back order and wait. It sucks. And then it'll come in a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months. But I don't have an answer as to when it's coming. Anyway. Eddie Nunez, I'm not sure what you mean by the foam wedge the original frame comes with for the GoPro. What original frame and what foam wedge? Not sure about that. Where can you find a back order for the Caddx Vista? Zoria and Passmore, I don't think you can get the Caddx Vista anymore. So the Caddx Nebula Pro is now going to be the thing to buy. I don't think, I think Caddx has said that it'll be at least a month before they have any more. And to be fair, and we covered this on the news, so you just want to point that out. Caddx, there were rumors that there was going to be a Vista shortage for about 2 months. And we said, you know, if you want to buy them now. I actually said that on Livestream, and people went and bought them right there on the Livestream. And I was like, geez, I hope I'm not like stoking panic buying for no reason. But now, no, we are in that phase that was foretold, where there's no Vistas. So if you want a Caddx Nebula Pro, you just gotta pick a store, put an order in, and cross your fingers. So the Vista's going away. OGK Kid. Am I wrong about this? I thought that now that DJI has sort of handed off the air unit to Caddx, I assumed that DJI would not be making the camera anymore. Like if you look at the Caddx air unit light, hang on. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Here's the Caddx air unit light. No, that's the Vista. I'm sorry. Where's the Caddx air unit light? Gal Krimmer. Product link, please. That's the Vista. What are we doing? Caddx Vista. Gal Krimmer. Gal, what am I going to do with this? Where's the product link, Gal? Oh my God. You're killing me, Gal. All right, just show me the damn camera. No. Oh, this is an old video. Where's the new Caddx air unit? They used to call the... There we go. That's it. That's it. Air unit micro. Is that it? Yes. Okay. So here is the new air unit that's being quote-unquote manufactured by Caddx. DJI is no longer making the air unit, and they never made the Caddx Vista. But the Caddx Vista used the camera from the original air unit. But notice that this camera is not the original camera. So my take on this is that DJI is no longer making this camera, and they're no longer making the air unit. Nominally, at least, Caddx is making this air unit. So I think the original Caddx Vista camera is gone. And that says to me that they're not making the Vista. The Vista VTX will be gone. Sorry. The Vista VTX will stay, but it will be paired with the Nebula Pro camera, a Caddx camera. So they call it a different product. See, I think the Caddx Vista is the VTX and the camera together. Caddx Nebula, you could say, well, it's a Caddx Vista VTX with a Nebula camera. You could also just say it's a Caddx Nebula. I guess it depends on context. But I don't think the Vista camera will exist anymore. I think it's going to be the Nebula Pro going forward, which is the Vista VTX and the Caddx camera. Hello, Ciati. I mean, I think that's a bad thing. I think that DJI camera was amazing. I think the Nebula Pro is nearly as good, but not quite as good. But I didn't mean to cause any confusion when I said the Vista was gone. The Vista VTX isn't going anywhere. Now that DJI is out of the picture, will other companies have the opportunity to make digital cams? Kenny, what makes you think DJI is out of the picture, or is it Kenny Lamb? DJI is not out of the picture, man. The fact that, because Caddx is not actually making these products. Well, the cameras, I think they are. This is pure speculation, and I want to preface it by saying that I think that DJI manufactures the circuit boards for the air unit and the Vista VTX, and then Caddx like assembles them. And if you don't believe me, take a look at like a Caddx split camera. Take a look at that circuit board and take a look at a DJI circuit board and ask yourself if they were made in the same factory. It feels like the answer is no. I think that Caddx nominally makes these things because there are reasons why it's useful to have someone else's name on them other than DJI. But I don't think DJI is out of the picture. I don't think Caddx is actually manufacturing them. Caddx apparently made a statement. Someone told me this. I haven't verified this. Caddx apparently made a statement that they would be able to update the firmware for the devices, which surprised me. I would have thought DJI would mostly keep that locked down. But if that's true, it could be good news because could finally get a freaking firmware update for some of this stuff. Coelho FPV, thanks for $5 super chat. We already read your super chat. My mistake. Squishy7 wants to know if I'm going to review the new camera that's on the Air Unit Micro. That would be interesting. I would be interested to do that. That's a very good question. I haven't been very focused on it because I fly the Vista basically exclusively. That's just what I'm most interested in. But as a reviewer, that would be a useful video to make. I'll try and keep that in mind. Synthetic in the Discord says, at some point you have to ask yourself, just how good does the camera really need to be? Well, I mean, fly the Nebula Nano, and then I think you'll know the answer. Jimmy Nature says, where can we purchase your JB props? So the JB props... GemFan 51477. It's just the GemFan 51477. So not all stores are, hey, yeah, why aren't you calling it the Bardwell prop? They're not. I'm going to go yell at them. It's just the GemFan 51477. I just asked them to make it in my colors so I could have the right color. I like that prop, and I just asked if they'd make it for me. Okay, let's play which store is branding them as Bardwell props. There you go. It's the exact same prop. JB 51477. Thank you, Newbie Drone. Thank you, Newbie Drone. OGK Kid asks, Bardwell, what do you think of a Vista without the control receiver? Do you think it would be smaller and lighter? No, I don't. I assume that the same radio is used for video and control. I mean, it has one... No, we know that's the fact because it only has one antenna. The Vista has one antenna for both control and video. Therefore, it only has one radio. Therefore, removing control, what would it do? It's just passing digital data. I don't think it would loosen it at all. I don't think it would lighten it at all. So. Oh, GemFan Hobby's in the chat. Wow. I'm kind of amazed that they're here. And they don't show. It's good to have you, GemFan. I don't mean to get any stores in trouble. I'm just shooting the shit on a live stream. That's all. I appreciate the help, GemFan. Yeah, you never know who's listening, right? Well, since GemFan's in the chat, I want to... Hang on. Let's see. This is a care package I got at Rampage. What do you guys think about this? This is GemFan's new 5226. It's a 5 by 2.1, or sorry, a 5.2 by 2.6 prop. This is continuing the trend that I first saw this trend really start with the HQ V1S props, the 5.1 inch props. People going to larger diameter props with a lower pitch. And Kebab is a big fan of this as well. I have always been a guy to use a little bit higher pitch props. That's why the 5177 is my sort of signature prop. But this is the same as, like, if you look at Mr. Steele's S3 props, I believe they are also, are they 5.1 or 5? I think they're 5.1, but I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, I'm very interested to try these out. I haven't gotten a chance to try them out because I have been working my butt off doing the build tutorial for this signature build, but I'm looking forward to trying them out. What else did I get in this care package? Quad Doc says 5.2, so much bigger chance of cutting my battery leads. Yeah. Here's an F4 prop, which is a 5 by 3.6 by 3. It's a 5 by 4 basically, but a different blade profile. Got some custom Rotor Riot Moonlight props. These were given out at Rampage. 5 by 3 by 3 Mango Yellow F3. So some new freestyle props. Yeah. HQ really trying to come up with some interesting stuff. Here's another 5.2 by 2.6. Really trying some different stuff out there. Thank you for the props, GemFan. 5 by 3.6. I'm just reading the labels of, yeah, 5 by 3 by 3. Anyway, Kebab has, oh, and here's what else is in there. From Rampage. I gotta get it. Rotor Riot. I need a new headshot with a beard. Oh. I flew a 5.5 inch prop once a long time ago. I kind of liked the larger diameter. I thought it was a really good, it was a 6 inch frame with a 5.5 inch prop. I thought it has a really good balance of endurance, stability, and durability, and agility. Scratch and sniff props. There we go. We need to put GemFan. Get on this. We need to put scents in our props. How expensive could that be, right? Just mix a little, like, we want watermelon props. I want them to smell like watermelon. Is that the stupidest idea you've ever heard, or the most brilliant idea? Think about that. What if when you pulled your props out, they like had a fruity smell? What if that was a thing? Oh, we got some GemFan versus HQ drama in the chat. I will say this. There was a time when HQ was the undisputed best prop you could buy. Just no question. Ask any freestyle pilot, what's the best 5-inch prop? HQ 5x4x3 was the answer. And not everybody flew that prop because they were expensive. And back in the day, my recollection is if you wanted the best props like Mr. Steel, you flew HQ. But if you were a normal pleb, you really were thankful that GemFan made some props that were a little more durable and a little less expensive, but they didn't perform as well. And I feel like GemFan has definitely closed that gap definitively. GemFan has been able to put out certain designs. It feels like HQ comes out with a line of props and then boom, oh, here they are. There they are. And then like sometime later they'll come out with a new line, but they're not as quick. And it feels like GemFan is a little bit more willing to just sort of try everything and see what sticks and see what works. Yeah. GemFan's got some pretty good props out there. No doubt. Brett Marak, thank you for a $10 super chat. I have to rebind my Crossfire Nano daily, and it takes multiple times each time. What is the issue? Brett Marak, I think you're not alone. I'm still gathering data. Can you do me a favor? Can you change your firmware version? I am wondering if Crossfire has a problem with their latest firmware. Because the problem is I can't remember the order that things happen because I have a lot of quads. And so like I got a quad out to fly it. It wasn't bound. And I thought, oh, I must have updated my firmware. So I rebound it. But then it didn't update the firmware. So why wasn't it bound? And then like the next day I went to fly and Crossfire wasn't bound. But was it the same quad I flew yesterday or a different one? I can't remember. But I have also noticed myself having to bind Crossfire more than I expected to and wondered, is there a bug in the latest release? I don't know. And I don't know. So please don't run to TBS and say Bardwell said there's a bug. I didn't say that. But Brett Marek, what I would do, can you just like update or downgrade your firmware and see if that fixes it? If not, then you could just have a bad receiver. What's the best way? Excuse me. Jason France, what's the best way to tell when you need a capacitor on your power lead? And further, how do you know what capacitor to use? Thank you for a $5 super chat, Jason. In general, for a 5-inch quad and below, 1,000 microfarads is plenty. On smaller quads, like 3 inches and below, you would go down to, like on really small, like lightweight toothpicks running on 2S or 3S, maybe you would have 220 microfarads. On like a 1S tiny whoop, you don't need I don't think you need a capacitor. But on anything like from a 2S toothpick on up, you're probably going to benefit from having a capacitor. A capacitor will help protect the ESC from voltage spikes and clean up your video. How do you know what capacitor to use? You usually can just go based on other people's recommendations and standards. Like you would have to do a lot of experimentation to sort of develop that body of knowledge from scratch. But 1,000 microfarad, 35 volt on a 6S 5-inch quad is a good rule of thumb. On On a 4S quad, you can go down to 25 volts. You still should have a capacitor. And then as you go down in size of prop, then you can use slightly smaller ones. So, is the Fat Shark Scout worth the price over an EV800D? Asks Fast Penguin. Fast Penguin, I mean, to somebody it is. If you're looking for a really good box goggle, the Fat Shark Scout or the Sky Zone Cobra are the two to look at. They do occupy a space in the $150-ish price range where you cannot get a good binocular style goggle, but they're better than like the $100. They're better than like the $100 box goggles for sure. Jason France, when do you need a capacitor on your power lead? If you're running 6S, you need a capacitor, 100%. If you're running 4S, you might get away with not having a capacitor, but you still should have one. That's what I would say. T. Simon in the Discord asks, you recently started being more explicit about the disclaimers on your reviews. Why the change? That's a very... I'm glad you asked that question. So I recently started putting commercial disclaimers on my reviews. I haven't done them on every single video that has any product in it, but especially on reviews, I've been doing them. And I'll say something like, this product was or was not purchased with my own money. It was or was not sent to me by the company. I did not receive any cash or other compensation for doing this video, except obviously if I did, then I would say so, but I almost never do. And no one has had any editorial control over the content. There are two things that triggered this. Number one is I got a message, a comment on one of my videos. It was from a viewer. I think he was German. And he said something to the effect of, I really like your content, but it bothers me that you're not more explicit about that kind of thing. And I was surprised because the U.S. laws and the U.S. norms around commercial disclosures are pretty easy to fulfill. But the European expectation is much more stringent. Like in Europe, they expect you to know, if you have sponsored content, you're expected to put #ad in the title of the video so that no one even clicks on the video without knowing that it's an ad. The European standards and the European rules are a lot more stringent. And he said he was disappointed. And I thought, I mean, my first thought was, well, screw you. My first thought was, I feel like I'm doing things just fine. How dare you? But then I thought about it some more and was like, yeah, I guess I see your point. But then I watched this video, and I'm going to see if I can find it for you. I'm not going to show the video, but I watched this video from, I think it was Tom Scott. No, please don't copy strike me, Tom Scott. I watched this video from Tom Scott, and it was about commercial disclosures. Here we go. This one. YouTubers have to declare ads. Why doesn't anyone else? This is a really, really interesting... This whole channel is really interesting. He has 3.8 million subscribers, so check him out if any of that content looks interesting. But he talked a lot about commercial disclosures, and I just really... and one of the things he said was that there's various ways that influence over editorial content can occur. And he listed some of the ways, like getting a sponsored product can result in influence, obviously being paid, having editorial control. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to hold myself to a higher standard, and I'm going to be explicit about that stuff. And I gotta say, it had an unintended side effect, which is that as soon as I did the very first one of those videos, I thought, oh shit, I've really painted myself into a corner here. Because the minute I do a review and it doesn't have that disclaimer, it's going to look really suspicious. I have to do this now. And that's a good thing. Not that I would ever, like, I'll give you an example. When I reviewed the Toolkit RC P200 charger, in the disclaimer, I said, I have not been paid any money to make this video, but I did notice that in the last month, Toolkit RC made a payment to my PayPal account. And I didn't send it back. Because, like, I don't know, I just have a PayPal address. Anyone can PayPal me money to support my channel. I really don't actually look at it very much. It just, you know, money comes in. I'm like, thank you. But I said, you know what? I got to disclose that. Nobody said, hey, we're going to pay you money to make this video. But they sent me a product. They sent me some money. I should disclose that. I probably wouldn't even have mentioned it under if I hadn't started doing those disclosures. But the disclosure kept me honest. And I feel like that's a good thing. So thank you, Tom Scott. And thank you to whoever that German commenter was who gave me a hard time about my disclosures. I mean, I could have sent the money back, but I didn't. So, you know, don't watch that review if you feel like that's a conflict of interest. I do have a Bitcoin address. It's at my website. The URL is www.fpvknowitall.com/support-me. And you can send me Bitcoin, you can send me ETH, and a couple others. My wallet is... you know what? I probably shouldn't say where my wallet is hosted. It's not a self-hosted wallet. But I've actually done okay. Someone a long time ago sent me a couple, you know, fractions of a Bitcoin. And in the last year, it's like shot up in value. So I'm doing okay for Bitcoin. At one point, it was at like $2,000. You know, it had gone up from whatever, $50 to, I don't know, $2,000. It was shot up. And now it's crashed. So, you know, should have cashed out, right? Hodl gang. EP Chris, that is correct. I am Brave verified. If you use Brave browser, I'm not entirely sure I understand, and I'm still wondering whether this is actually secretly a scam, so I'm not endorsing this, but Brave browser is the thing some people have asked me about. Basically, when you watch my videos, Brave will show you ads, and then I will get some kind of cryptocurrency based on the ads that you watch. Not the YouTube ads, but the Brave ads. And some people feel like it's a better way to support people. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, Toxic FPV, if you know my wallet address, then probably you could figure out who's holding it, couldn't you? Maybe so. Anyway. So yeah, I'm Brave. If you use Brave, I'm Brave certified now. Anyway. Ghost Branch FPV has given me, he's been working on a TBS tracer mount, wants to know what I think. Let's see. That's risky. Beautiful render, Ghost Branch, by the way. This is a beautiful render. Interesting. So, zoom out on that slightly. I like that it uses the wire only as the holder, because I think it means it's more likely that you'll be able to just slide it in easily. You'll bend the wire slightly, but it'll straighten out. I think that's going to work well. I like that it has the antennas at 90 degrees to each other, which of course is ideal for diversity. I like that the antennas are flat. I think for long range, having a vertical and a horizontal antenna is the best way to go. But for typical freestyle, having two flat antennas at 90 degrees is a good idea. Some people would want a vertical antenna, though, Ghost Branch. I think Steel runs his that way. The number one thing I don't like about this is the... Oop, that's too far out. Is the height. If I were to design this... Oh, are they dropped down? I want these parallel or below the bottom plate so that they are more further away from the antennas if an antenna gets bent. Sorry, the props, if a prop gets bent. So it does look like you've lowered it a little. I can't tell on this side. I would want to push down a little further. This one looks like it's more higher up. I would want it a little further from the prop for prop strikes. Some people would argue, Ghost Branch, that having them straight out the back in a horizontal vertical configuration would be the most immune from prop strikes, which is a valid argument. It feels like they're higher than I would want them. That's just my take. Yeah. It's clever. It's clever. Also seems like it has a lot of material. Like, I know why it has the material that it has, but it seems like it has a lot of material. Anyway. License to Drive wants to know if I've seen his folding TPU antenna holder for the Minimortal T. Thingiverse. He's always pimping his Thingiverse pages. Broondog 807 says, I've got a drone that's rated for 2 to 3S voltage, but the only thing that it's not rated to 4S are the motors. Is it worth it to try to get some more power? I mean, Broondog, if the motors are not rated to 4S, it doesn't mean that they'll necessarily fry on 4S. Usually a motor's voltage rating is just a recommendation, and running on a higher voltage is okay as long as you have a throttle limit. But if the motors are designed for 2 and 3S, then the KV is probably not correct for 4S, and you probably are not going to get good results. JT Knives asks, do you still recommend your JB camera for your new freestyle build? And if so, how about running it with the tank? JT Knives, I do. The perfect freestyle build video does have an analog section. You'll see I'm using DJI here for obvious reasons. But it does have an analog section as well. And I do use the JB camera there, and I use the Rush Tank Solo as the VTX. Could you mount an antenna in the front as well as one in the back? Asks Brutus FPV. Yep, you totally could do that. Yep, you totally could. Monkey FPV has some more Immortal T Apex mounts on Thingiverse. See you later, Bannister Post. Bannister Post heading out of here. What's your fix for prop strikes? Ha ha. Ha ha. Very funny. Brandon RC has a fix for prop strikes. Run ExpressLRS with the micro ceramic antenna, and you'll never have a prop strike again because the antenna is this little ceramic thing. This is something that I guarantee we're going to see other companies doing. As soon as ExpressLRS gains a little more popularity, we're going to see Crossfire, Ghost probably. I guarantee we're going to see other companies using these ceramic antennas. They're so clever. Zorian Passmore, the Flywoo Hex Nanos did ship. Well, Zorian, I take that back. If you were one of the winners of my Flywoo Hex Nano in last month's new product roundup and giveaway, I ordered them. I don't know if they shipped. The orders have been placed, though. They may or may not be in stock, but yeah. Aber the Ham says that ceramic antenna is so dope. I'd be interested to see how it performs. The ceramic antenna is about 6 dB of loss compared to the standard one. So that's substantial. 6 dB of loss is half the range. Okay, half the range. But if you're starting out with 30, 40, 50, 60 kilometers of range, having the range is still plenty for a lot of situations. The intent of these antennas is pretty much for racing, where you don't need a ton of range. Yeah, Pacific Northwest Pilot says that they have gotten out to 3.4 kilometers on the ceramic antennas. With enough output power and with ExpressLRS modulation, you can get sufficient range. I mean, if you're trying to get maximum penetration or range, you wouldn't necessarily use this. But think about it. At a race, maybe you're going to be limited to 25 milliwatts or maybe 100 milliwatts, right? But you're not going very far anyway, so you're fine. For freestyle, you've got half the range with this ceramic antenna, but you can crank it up to 1 watt, so who cares? Squishy, that 6 dB of loss was estimated based on actual flights. So that 6 dB of loss includes the attenuation of the carbon fiber around, at least for this, like this one guy's build. So it's a very rough number. But that 6 dB of loss, yeah, Aber the Ham asking the same question. That 6 dB of loss is based on one guy who built a quad with this antenna and flew it around and looked at his RSSI numbers compared to a standard antenna. What arrangement is that ceramic antenna? I'm sure it's linear, not circular, Jamie Bowers. Control links are almost always linear, although I'm not 100% sure why. Pacific Northwest Pilot says they've seen a ceramic antenna go 3 kilometers at 500 hertz on 100 milliwatts, no failsafe. I mean, that's pretty freaking good. A lot of people would be happy with 250 hertz, and a lot of people would be willing to go above 100 milliwatts. Yeah. So the idea is that if your radio link is solid enough, you can use a subpar antenna, but you gain a lot in terms of durability. Rob Axelson, to be clear, the example I'm giving, the receiver was installed inside a build. DM4DS, the antenna is spiral in its geometry, but its polarization, I'm thinking, is probably linear. Certainly one of the benefits of a linear antenna is size and weight. For video, where we kind of need all we can get, then we use circular. For control links, maybe it's just not worth it. Let's see here. Everybody's very happy to see Slat in the chat. Let's see here. That's it? Are we done? We're just going to spend the rest of the live stream fawning over Slat. Got it. Not a problem. Not a problem. We can do this. Slat is, you seen this new Elevate thing? So Cricket has apparently started a team. No. Elevate FPV. Uh-oh. This better be Cricket's thing. No, Elevate Pictures. Oops. Hey Cricket, did you do like a search before you named your team? Yellow gospel music. No. There we go. Elevate FPV is a new Facebook group, so I'll put a link here. I'm pretty sure. Is it open? I don't know. Try to join it. But this is Cricket, Slat, and Erodio, I believe, are the guys doing Elevate FPV. And let's check out what Slat's been up to. No music. Bando Stadium Dive. All right, I'm gonna chance it and unmute the desktop. Hang on a second. There we go. Ooh, there we go. All right, we're gonna do some reacting.
And my GoPro is already ready from Best Buy, so they're wanting my drone out. We tried.
No, we don't need. No, we don't need this vlog stuff. Give me the rippage. Give me the rippage. That vlog stuff is for other people.
Place we're gonna be flying. No, I'm just kidding. But we're gonna get like 2 packs here and then hit the stadium, so that should be sick.
All right, now I have to mute it because there's music. Let's see what Slat's up to. Little dive. Little continuing the line. Good. Oh, bailout. Was that a bailout? Did he miss it? I always wonder this. People say, what are lines? What are lines? This is a line when you're flying. See? He hasn't broken his line. He hasn't broken his line here. Down, continuing the right turn, spiraling around, converting to right. There, he broke the line. I would say, in my mind, he broke the line. See, it looked like he was going to fall short, or maybe he didn't think he was going to make it. You do it smooth. You do it smooth and make it look intentional. It doesn't break the line. It's about the feel. See, that's really nice. That's really nice. All right, and we're coming back in. Little dive there. Nice. Oh, back up. Nice. Yeah, buddy. Little dive there. Oh, little circle. Where are we going? Where are we going? You don't know. All right, that's the 3rd time we've done that. Yeah, I think you got that one. You got that one. Oh, here we're somewhere different. Yeah, a little fliesy around there. A little cut. In and out. Back under here. What are we going to do next? Are we going to... Oh, okay. Back up here. Nice. That was nice. A little roll there. What are we doing? Big move. Big pop over the top. Felt like it came up short. Wanted him to stay inverted the whole time. Easy for me to say, right? Dude's putting his footage out here, and I'm just... Yeah, nice. All right. Let's go. Let's vlog. This is the stadium. It's a pretty badass location. Here comes the stadium stuff. All right, we'll go back. If you want to see the vlogging stuff, go watch it on his channel. I don't need to react to that. Ooh, all right, here we go. This is a freaking dream right here, isn't it? Oh, see now look at that. Did you see that rollout? Now I don't know if that was a mistake or not. That looked intentional. Either he faked me out or he did it on purpose. Look at the difference between this rollout, hang on, and the other one that I said he broke the line. Okay, here we go. Boom. It wasn't that one, I don't think. Maybe it was. That rollout looked intentional. It didn't look like sudden or startled. It looked smooth. I dig it. Whee! Oh, keep going down. Yes! Oh, nice. Nice. That felt good. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Ooh, little gap. Tiny gap. Where are we going? Oh, okay. Good thing that was there. Uh-huh. Where are we going now? Down, up the stairs. We've got a little dive. No. Oh, okay. Okay, thought we were going into the stairs. Oh, that was close. A little close. Probably not as close as it looked. Where are we going? Oh, okay. 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 I so wanted you to get in there. Like right here. I wanted it. Big. No. See, like right this one. Get in there. Get in there. No. Oh, you can still get it. You can still get it. Nope. Oh, well. Okay. I mean, you know. Wasn't the hole I wanted you to get into. You got there. Oh, a little juicy flick there. Haven't seen a lot of that here, Slat. Does Slat not do the juicy stuff? Like one little juicy flick. Everything else is mostly moving forward. Reminds me a lot of Tommy's flying. Tommy Tabahia, Mr. Oh my God. A lot of just forward flying, moving, chewing up the scenery. Nice. A lot of left turns. Oh, there's a right turn. Okay. One right turn. 2 right turns. And we're done. Very nice. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Oh, yeah. It's interesting. I didn't see any juicy stuff, did I? It's all forward, isn't it? There's a lot forward. Like one little juicy flick to the side. It was good. It was good. I got to tell you, I got to be straight. I mean, obviously that was great rippage. You know, that kind of react is just straight off the cuff. You're just getting my thoughts right off the top of my head. So hopefully nobody's mad that I was like too harsh or anything. It's called flow, Bardwell. Yeah, I know what flow is. You could have juicy flow. Michael Hill, thank you for a $10 super chat. Do you do all of your flying footage in acro mode after you're done with the build, or do you switch to angle mode? No, I'm almost never in angle mode, except on tiny whoops. Sometimes I am. That's the Drib school of flow, forward all the time. Yeah, Squishy, I mean this as a compliment. Slat's style is very similar to Drew's style. Drew's style is very smoothly sort of moving forward and making lines and loops. As I can't think of hardly ever a time when Drew does like a look back or like a juicy flick, kind of a wing kind of a thing. And it's pretty cool. It's just like you just sort of, it feels like you're on a roller coaster, doesn't it? Like it feels like you're on a roller coaster, except there's no track, and it's really cool. Whoa, Cricket's here. Cricket FPV. Now look, let's just hang on. Let's just shift gears. Let's just shift gears. Hang on, I gotta mute the desktop real quick. Like, oh, he hasn't posted a new one. That's a shame. But like, compare and contrast, right? Is there any music on this one? Yeah, there is. I can't play the music. Sorry, guys. Like, compare and contrast the style. Right? Look at how seldom Farouk is going forward, just flying straight forward. Even when he is moving forward, he's rolling, he's flipping, he's flicking. Right? Crazy control, just crazy control. But he's not really going anywhere. He's doing things. Like Spang reminds me of breakdancing. You're standing in one place and you're doing moves. Whereas like Drew or Slat's style, I think it goes back to Tommy originally. Tommy had this sort of just forward flying style. but not as, I think Tommy's style is not as fluid as Drew's. Doesn't remind me, and what I don't know what style that reminds me of. It's not breakdancing though. Anyway, this is like math rock, right? Spang is like math rock. It's music for musicians, and not even music for musicians. It's music for music theory majors. You know, Spang is FPV for FPV pilots. It's not fun to watch. It's just impressive. Anyway, makes me, I mean, I want to be able to do that, but Spang is the Rush of FPV. There you go. Yeah. Rush the band. Yeah. Where's Bach Grinder? Love his flights. Bach Grinder? Yeah, I don't know. You have to ask Cricket. He's the man. Do you have to have your motors set to reverse to fly like that? Pace and K. Nope. Pace and K, that is, none of that is with 3D. That's just skill and physics. I don't know what's, if Farouk is breakdancing and Slat and Drew are like kind of being on a roller coaster ride, then what does that make Mr. Steele? You know what it makes Mr. Steele? I know what it makes Mr. Steele. This is what it makes Mr. Steele. It's this. This is what Mr. Steele is. It's this thing. Oh, that's a joke. This is how I feel sometimes watching Steele's video. Did you see Steele's latest? Jesus Christ, this guy. I'm gonna close this. This freaking guy spends 5 minutes just flying around, just sort of just you know, just I'm just gonna do this and do that. He spends 5 minutes just kind of diddling around. And then at the very end, he's like, oh, hang on, let me just hit this power loop that you guys have been trying to hit. Is it? Where was it? Blibbity, blibbity, blibbity. Did he already hit it? Where did he hit it? Yeah, there it is. This freaking guy. And the fact that he just dicked around for 5 minutes before he went and hit this. And it just first try. Yeah, you know, okay, just, yeah, no problem. This freaking guy. And then he just goes, yeah. Anyway. Alrighty. He's the Mark McGuire of FPV. Thank you, ATF 2099. Well, it's 9:52. It's 8 minutes to the end of the stream. Siati is going to be streaming at 10 p.m. tonight, I assume. He's here in the chat. And Siati, you can start posting a link to that stream if people want to keep up the streaming goodness. Very happy to see Cricket and Slat here. You guys definitely check out Elevate FPV here on Facebook. Who knows what's going on with that, where it's going, but with Cricket, Slat, and Erodio involved, obviously it's going to make something interesting, so check that out. 661 FPV, I do think there's some truth to that. Steele is so good that like I watched him do that power loop and I was like, that didn't look that hard. But it was it was real hard. He definitely makes things look smooth and easy and effortless. in a way that belies his true skill. Let's see. Somebody in the Discord asked if I'm still a Rotor Riot cast member. I am. I haven't been in, like, it was really good to go to Rampage and meet up with all those guys. I haven't been in a Rotor Riot episode in a long time because I haven't been traveling. I haven't been traveling for various reasons. But I'm still a cast member and proud of it. DMOC86 wants to know if Cricket is still a cast member. Cricket's in the chat, so he can sort of speak for himself there if he prefers. Will there be TPU for the Caddx or DJI Air unit for your new frame? Not sure how I will mount the Caddx Air unit in your QAVS frame. I mean, there's 20mm mounting holes, so you certainly could mount it with screws. Or you could do like I did and just get some double-sided tape and zip ties. Like, why would you need TPU to mount the Vista? Doesn't make sense to me. It's just going to be a shitload of additional weight for no benefit. 3M Cricket, how do you mount your Vistas? I already know the answer. Cricket mounts his Vistas with double-sided mounting tape and no zip ties. Just the double-sided mounting tape. And he beats the shit out of his quads. I don't think there's any compelling reason to mount the Vista in a big TPU mount. Yeah. So, that's what I would say. I mean, if you wanted one, I'm sure one could be made, but I'm not compelled to ask for one. I don't feel motivated to ask for one. What's the best way to take the plastic off of double-sided tape? Hell yeah. That's so annoying. I use a little forceps or hemostat. I don't know. I can never be sure which is the right one. And just kind of pinch it and clip it and pull it off. I cannot do it with my fingers. Thank you, Gem Fan Hobby, for being here. Thank you for that. Oh, wow. Beautiful, beautiful color work on the frame. He said Caddx Vista Air unit. Oh, I don't think the air unit fits in this frame, so it doesn't matter. I don't think the air unit fits in this frame. Ciati will be streaming. I don't think he's posted the link yet. He will be streaming at 10 as far as I know. Beautiful. Let me show this. Yeah. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Very nice color work. For the Caddx or DJI Air unit. I see, Ryzex. Ryzex, you're wanting the Caddx or DJI Air unit. I don't think that fits in the frame, so I don't think it matters. Put it in the middle above the ESC. Run a 20 by 20 in the back. Maybe. Maybe. If you were to do that, you could make it work, but you're going to be on your own. The problem with that is that there are all the screws. All the screws are in the center, so I think you're going to have a hard... That's when you might want a 3D printed one. But the official answer is that the air unit is not supported. Glad you're here. Nathan Lanchbury caught the end of the stream. You could decase the air unit. Yeah, probably more trouble than... How did I fit my capacitor inside my QAVS frame? Redbeard, good question. You're going to find out tomorrow when I release the build video. It's behind the camera, though. I rotated the ESC, and it's behind the camera. Then I had to figure out what to do with the power lead. The power lead was a little complicated to figure out too, but I came up with a solution that I am ultimately happy with. Yeah, you're definitely right that it's pretty tight if you just were to put it in the rear. So. Alrighty, guys, we're going to wrap up for the evening. Thank you so much for coming out. Ciati is posting the link to his stream, 4 Monday giveaways, and a Q&A mailbag, and finishing the BQE Ripsqueak number 3. He's posting a link to his stream, and if you guys are having fun streaming and want to hang out with him, definitely head on over there. I am going to wrap up for the evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. for the news with It's Blunty, and tomorrow the first the build video for my new perfect freestyle build. All my favorite parts, no holds barred, are gonna be there, and you can watch me put it all together. But that's gonna do it. Have a good night, everybody. Have a great stream, Ciati. Thank you Slat and Cricket for showing up. Always good to have those, and GemFan Hobby as well. Always good to have you guys come out when you make it. So, happy flying, everybody. Have a good night.